What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dorm Debate podcast. We got John and Caleb for today's podcast. I know it's been a while. I think it's been around a month since we did our last podcast. So bear with us if we're a little rusty. Surprisingly, we have a Q&A section today from our TikTok. If you don't follow us on TikTok, it's the Dorm Debate Podcast. Really easy, really simple. I put a video up about 6 days ago and basically said if you guys have any NFL questions you want us to answer, shoot them our way and we'll answer them on the next podcast. So that segment will be at the end. And right now, we are going to talk about big news in New England, Cam Newton to the New England Patriots. A deal that we saw hints of a couple months ago. They were hinting it that the Pats were talking to Cam. Didn't think it was going to happen. It happens. 1 year, $1.5 million deal. I just want to ask you guys to start off. What do you think Cam Newton can bring to the Patriots?
To be honest, I don't really think he brings that much. I don't think
think
he's
it's
that
the
good.
opposite. You think the Patriots will be more of a...
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason he only got paid $1.5 million for 1 year. I mean, Dak's getting $31 million. Mahomes is getting $45 million. So Belichick knows that Cam's not that good. So, I mean, he's going to come in. It's going to be such a disaster. You guys have no idea. They can't even meet. He doesn't even know the playbook. He's going to have no training time. And then there's no preseason. It's going to be so bad. You guys are going to be shocked. Like, what? I thought Belichick could make everything work. But when you have a bad quarterback like Cam and you have no time to practice, it's going to be a real disaster.
So you really don't like him for the pay. Is he locked in as the starter, or has the talk been that they're still looking at Stidham to be? Is it like a battle for the start?
I think it's a battle.
I think it's a battle, but Jonathan seems to think that Stidham's the next Brady. So
here's my thing: is they're better now with Cam than they are with Stidham. So it's an upgrade. I mean, you got an MVP.
True.
Well, it's like we said in the last podcast, is like teams are starting to invest a lot. If say Cam doesn't start, he's still like a really good backup. If anything, a solid backup. Maybe he's not great. That's the thing with the deal, I think, is, compared to other players, how much they're getting, it's like literally 30, 40 times if you're looking at Mahomes or Dak. But coming with Cam Newton, I think he's a good quarterback with a lot of potential. It's just injuries have put a big question mark. So I think it's a risk for Cam Newton because maybe he could have gotten more money somewhere else. And it's also a risk for the Patriots. But I think there's a lot of upside where if he kind of proves himself that he can stay healthy, that he still has the essence of greatness that he had with the Panthers when he was at full health, then, maybe this could turn into a long relationship with the Patriots. Is he going to fill Brady's shoes in a way, that's who knows? Or is Stidham the next? I don't know. But I like it for the Patriots. I mean, as much as I dislike the Patriots as in Eagles. I know it's a dog, but it's an Eagles shirt. I think it'll be interesting to see. I don't think we'd have to see how good Stidham is. I haven't seen a lot of him, so if he's the starter, then that's like conversation's kind of moot. But if Cam's starting, that adds a lot of mobility that you just didn't see with Brady in the pocket. So it'll be interesting if that opens up different plays from the Patriots that teams haven't seen before. But it's not a lot of money, but I think it could give him a lot of room to prove himself.
Yeah, it's tough. The Patriots, I wouldn't have signed him if they had planned for him to be the backup. Just the way his personality is and how vocal he is on social media, I don't like him being a backup. He's just going to be a distraction throughout the season. And especially if Stidham isn't performing well, he'll probably send out some tweet or cryptic tweet or something like that saying I should be starting. They're keeping me on the bench.
Yeah.
So I hope that he's not going to be a backup.
That's a good point.
It's very comparable to Jameis Winston taking a 1 year, $1 million deal with the Saints. How he's not really expecting to win with the team or nothing. It's just kind of a learning experience and a humbling experience to sit down and learn from Belichick or sit down and learn from Drew Brees. Just kind of taking a step back and knowing that you're not, the best player and that you can always improve. That looks like the deal that I see like comparable to Winston and Newton. But with that being said, I think Cam, with the chip on his shoulder and him wanting to get back to that starting caliber level, I think if they start him week 1, they have a real good shot at winning maybe a game or 2 in the playoffs. So, Caleb, you exited out.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back now.
You had a great thought.
You just leave.
No, on the iPhone when your battery's low, it does you like a 10% warning, 20% warning. I just got the warning, and I guess that like booted me. But I'm back, right?
Yeah, you're good.
I'm plugged in. I'm ready. Did you have more to say? I wanted to bounce off something you mentioned.
What was I gonna say? Oh, Cam Newton could definitely win 1 to 2 games in the playoffs. Just because the Panthers gave up on him, one, so he's already got a chip on his shoulder. And I think a lot of the media has given up on him over the past couple of years, saying that he's washed up and that he got lucky in that one Super Bowl run. So with that being said, he has a lot to prove. My only concern is the weapons. He has Sony Michel in the backfield who's okay, and he's got Edelman. And I know he was working out with N'Keal Harry, their young freaking wide receiver that they drafted last year. I just don't know if the weapons around him could sustain a playoff run, which would probably be what he needs to get another contract somewhere, which is his ultimate goal, I would assume, is to get another contract.
But you're not worried about the playbook, like with no preseason and they can't meet? Like you're not worried about that?
I think what Belichick will do is mold an offense around Newton, around like to his strengths. So it will kind of be easy for him to adapt to the offense because they're building it around him.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if they'll have a Tom Brady type offense and then just throw Cam in and tell him to adjust. I think they'll adjust the offense accordingly to how Cam is. But
Patriots, knowing Belichick and how he operates, I feel like if Newton can't rise to understanding the playbook, and I think it's hard for any player to see a bunch of quarterbacks go to a new team and not succeed. But I don't think Belichick will change the team to fit Newton. I think it's expected that Newton changes himself to fit the team. Because at that point, it's like maybe Belichick would rather have Stidham, who understands the system better. I like what you said with the weapons, though, because I feel like when you had Brady in the pocket, it's like he's good enough that improves players who, like the Patriots are able to operate off of not having like superstars, like the way the Chiefs have. They have good players, maybe they're not household names, but they're great players, and the people who know they're good, know they're good. But when you had Brady in the pocket, I feel like it just kind of, like a rising tide raises all ships, with another quarterback in there, how good will those weapons be? That's a good point. I was thinking too, what you mentioned with like Winston and I feel like it's those kind of deals. I think of with Bridgewater too, where these starting quarterbacks who kind of get humbled, go to a backup position. I think the goal then is to learn, humble yourself, take off the pressure, and then look at Bridgewater. Is like when the chance comes, you kill it, and then you get into a long-term deal, leading again. So I think that's what's looking for Cam Newton.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean for Cam, in my opinion, if I had to predict what will happen next season, I think he starts for the Pats and they make the playoffs and win one game and then get kicked out. But I think he's going to have a monster season. Like, I think they're going to use him way more running-wise than the Panthers did. I mean, from what his Instagram shows, he is in, like, the best shape of his life. and
But
he's worked.
he could still get injured though.
He could still get injured, and that's true. But I think the Patriots, they have Stidham as a backup. It's not they didn't go all in on Cam Newton. They're only paying $1 million, $1.5 million or whatever. So, I mean, they can take a risk knowing that they have Stidham as a backup.
I think it's good if anything, it's good for the Patriots. I think.
Yeah, it's no lose. Like you just
right.
No risk.
Yeah. So for the Patriots, I like it. And if Cam's healthy, and a healthy Cam is changes the game. If he gets injured, then it's like, changes everything.
Yeah. I wish we had Jonathan on because he would probably go crazy.
Yeah, he would love this.
Oh man.
We miss you.
I know, really. Well, this kind of ties into Cam because someone else will have has a 1-year deal. Dak Prescott, a little bit more money, just a little bit, just maybe.
He got a little more than 1.5.
Just a tiny bit, 31 million.
Oh, okay.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, these players are really struggling out here.
Even though Dak and Cam are like very, I don't know who's better.
I know, really. Like who's better,
itself.
And they're getting paid $30 million.
Healthy Cam or healthy Dak? Who would you take? That's tough.
The fact that I have to think about it.
The fact that you have to think about it, and there's a 30 times difference. It just shows it's a market. It's not like a logical, it's what the market dictates.
Well, I think this 1-year deal with Dak shows where the Cowboys stand, as him being a franchise quarterback. They don't know. They literally have no idea. If they knew 100%, they would have offered him a long-time contract.
Yeah.
I think they want him. I just don't know. It's been so murky, the details into the negotiations, because you see some headlines that are like, who knows if they're credible, because a lot of people talk. But it seems like some of the deals the Cowboys are willing to offer Dak were very, pretty, I would take it in terms of how nice it is, So who knows if there's caveats with like guaranteed, or if it's tied to performance that maybe doesn't show, maybe they're, on paper it's like this much, but if you don't get X amount of this, you don't get paid that. Maybe that's what. So the fact he's on a franchise makes me think that they did want him, but the salary just makes it, I guess they couldn't come to agreement with that. So as a franchise, I don't know. It's an interesting time to be a Cowboys fan.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're keeping him for 1 year, and they're going to see how he does, but they're going to give him the money either way. I think that Jerry really believes in him, and I think he's going to have a good year this year. I mean, they're putting weapons around him, so why would they draft CD Lamb in the first round? I don't know. I don't know why they didn't offer more. I don't know. They offered like 35 million or something, or 37 million, and he said no. But I think he'll get a long-term deal next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to go?
Well, they were saying 4 or 5 years is another thing. Talking about long-term deal.
Oh yeah, that's right. He didn't want a long-term deal, or did he?
I think he wanted 4, and the Cowboys wanted him for 5.
Which is like what?
So he wanted 1 year left.
I don't understand what 1 more year.
Yeah. What?
He's like, I can live here for 4 more years, but 5 is pushing it.
My rent in my house will go up a little bit in that 5th year, and I just can't afford it.
Well, I was seeing,
who knows? This is talk, but if that's the case, yeah.
I was looking at a couple memes of Mahomes' deal of like $500 million, and he walks into the locker room and training camp, and like all these scrubs are there because they had to give everyone away because they have no more money for him. So like it could have been something with that where the Cowboys don't want to give the quarterback all the money and then have scrubs around him.
True.
Like true. I don't know how the Chiefs are going to be able to pay for Mahomes with that deal, and be able to pay Kelsey and be able to pay Tyreek Hill. Those are 3 of the top 3 players at each position.
Yeah.
You're going to have to pay them like a top tight end and a top wide receiver. Like, how are you going to have a good defense with that? I don't understand how the money works out.
Like same thing with the Cowboys. How are you going to pay Amari Cooper, Zeke, and Dak?
Right. I don't know how. I mean, I guess there was an increase in salary cap,
Yeah.
but still,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, one thing with what's tough with Dak's position was, and I again as an Eagles fan, I'm biased, but there was that game versus the Cowboys Eagles where it's win or go home, you know. So if the Cowboys had won that and gone to the playoffs, and the Eagles ended up beating them, but that's a big thing. Is like now he has even more weapons around him. Dak does. But last year, the argument was like you have a Cooper, you have you know Ezekiel Elliott, and it's like you didn't make it to the playoffs, and as much as like statistically he did have a good year, maybe one of the best years of his career, it's like that's just ideologically paying him long term when he had all these weapons already and didn't get it. So this is another trial year maybe to get back into that position.
Sure.
Here's hoping they don't make the playoffs as an Eagles fan. But you know what I'm saying is that it's kind of it's just how much more does he have to prove himself? Because I don't think he's a bad quarterback. I don't know if the market says he's worth what he wants either. So with even more weapons, if they don't make it this year to the playoffs, then I don't think he stays with the Cowboys if that's what he still wants as a payment for salary. I just don't see how that another team might be willing to pay it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I said in one of the other podcasts that I don't think he'll be a Cowboys quarterback in like 5 years or 2 years or whatever. It's going to be tough for the Cowboys if they don't make the playoffs, because then they're going to have to reconsider him as their franchise quarterback. But at the same time, they have the leverage because he's gone already. Technically, the 1-year deal, he'll be gone after the 2020 season. So I just don't see Dak being the starter after that if they miss the playoffs, especially with how big the Cowboys fan base is. And they're going to want to win now. And they probably should have done better last year, but they didn't. Like, they have all these weapons and they still can't win. Best line, great receivers, great defense. Like, everything's there for them to win, but they just can't get over that hump. And maybe a change at quarterback could be that that sign. And they already paid Elliott his money, so they're stuck with Elliott at running back. The only interchangeable thing could be the quarterback. And I believe that Dak is a replaceable quarterback. He's not a unique guy that you can't find anywhere. Like Mahomes is, Russell Wilson is, Tom Brady, but you can find a Dak Prescott. Like, I feel like a lot of players are comparable to him, Teddy Bridgewater being one of them. Next year, you're going to have Cam Newton as a free agent. You're going to have Jameis Winston as a free agent. So, and you're going to have Dak as a free agent, getting other offers from other teams. I just think it's time for Dak to go, is my thing.
If they make the playoffs, then
If they make the playoffs and lose, no. But if they make the playoffs, win one game,
okay,
then stick with them. But even at that point, like they had the number 1 seed how long ago? Like 3 years ago, and they lost in the first round or whatever round that was. But they didn't win a game. So they're underperforming every single year, even though on paper they're getting better.
Yeah.
And Dak is getting better. He had the most passing yards last year, yet they're not translating into wins.
But I mean, you also have to think they got rid of their coach. They have a new coach, so you have to at least give them a sort of a chance. Like now you have Mike McCarthy. So what if they make the playoffs and lose? Okay, was that Dak's fault or was that just because of a new coach? Like,
I forgot about him.
Yeah, me too. That's a fair point. I think if they make it and lose, I think it's better for Dak because then he can leave and say, I did this. The Cowboys aren't willing to do long term, but I can clearly, take a team to the playoffs. If they make a deep run, then I don't see how the Cowboys don't pay him.
Yeah.
Mike McCarthy, I forgot.
They're going to be good. The Cowboys are going to be good next year. They're going to definitely make the playoffs and win a game.
Have to go on a wild card behind the Eagles or something. It's the only way.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
We'll have to get the third wild card.
it's gonna be an interesting season because because of that uh, additional playoff spot. So I
Yeah.
mean, any team can make it now. Any team.
Yeah.
Um. Okay, our last topic before the Q&A is just to kind of talk about Antonio Brown fake retiring for a second time. He tweeted out that he was done with the NFL because uh, they weren't proceeding with his investigation and they were keeping him from playing. So he's like, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. And then the next day, he was like, I'm joking. It was a joke. I'm coming back. Blah, blah, blah. So first off, I just want to like have a domino of questions. Do you think Antonio Brown physically is ready to play, and is he mentally ready to play?
I just say he's more physically ready to play than mentally. But I think he's fine. Like I kind of agree with what he's saying. Like when I just read an article that he's saying that the NFL is holding up his investigation. Like him and his like lawyers are contacting them and they're just not responding. And he's like, I want to play football. Like I want to get back out there. Like give me a chance to go back out there and make history or whatever. And they're just not, responding or anything. So I agree with what he's saying. The NFL is trying to prolong this thing, and he's just, it's gone to the point where he's like, I just, I'm giving up. Like, I guess I'm not going to play football again because nobody's telling me what's going on. And then he's like, it feels bad that he said that. So he's like, actually, no, it's fine. You guys could take your time. Like, just make sure I get back on the field.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to. It's a complicated situation. For the angle that I think Antonio Brown stated after, like he retired, but then made a statement about from what his angle is that the NFL is doing an investigation, but they're kind of in his eyes dragging it along. So as long as it's ongoing, he can't play. And I believe on NBC Sports, they put a statement. They said that he's been like cooperating with the investigation, seeing a therapist. Because some of when a lot of the news with Antonio Brown blew up, it was kind of the least to say is unprofessional, and very more to say almost disturbing. Some of the videos that came out. So if he's getting help and cooperating, then I think it's fair. Like what John you were saying was like, to at least you have a right to kind of get this resolved. And if the NFL does the investigation, and they don't, if they're trying to drag it to get him to not play in his eyes, as he said, then I think it's more right or fair to do if I'm the NFL, conduct the investigation, see what, to your standards, what the rules are. I'm not aware of them. And then if they say like, we're not comfortable with you playing, then that's like at least start there rather than like try to delay the process. Make like say like, you're not playing football again, or say, you have complied with everything, you've improved, and that's what if the investigation shows that, then they can explore seeing it. I don't agree with, kind of tactically delaying just to, I don't know, avoid committing if that's true, because that's all alleged.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting to look at a lot of the teams' thoughts on it, because I know the Seahawks are in talks with him, or at least have been in talks with him. And I think he worked out with Russell Wilson. And I know the Redskins were another team that were looking at him. So it seems like teams have met with him, or at least talked with him, and have done like analysis by themselves and said, he's fit to play physically, mentally. To even just talk with him is like a step, because I don't think any team was talking to him after he got dropped by the Pats. So for that to happen, if the investigation goes through and it finds out, even I don't know exactly what it is, but even if he's like convicted and he's like suspended 6 games or something like that, I think he's back in the league next year, whenever that expires. Because he can change a team. He's I don't even think you can argue. He's got to be top 5 wide
He's a
receiver.
great player. Yeah, when
I
when he's
mean,
healthy, he's a great player.
yeah, he played 1 game last season and had a touchdown. Like he didn't even go the game without a touchdown. But again, it's kind of like Cam, where his personality overshadows his talent. And if he can get his personality to, not cover it completely, but just minimize it a little bit so that they can all focus on football, I think he'll be on a team in no time. But I don't know. If you went to the Seahawks, that'd be amazing. That would be like the best thing ever. But you never know.
Yeah. I know the Seahawks are looking at Gordon too. So it's like,
yeah,
you get into it's like I think with both those players, teams want them. It's just the NFL as an organization does, kind of protect itself from, for better or worse, it does have like rules that, players can't do whatever they want off the field and, still play. Like there are, standards that I guess they hold. So I don't know. I don't know if he'll play again. It depends on what, I don't know.
If the investigation was done tomorrow, does he sign with the team for this year? Investigation's done tomorrow. They say like nothing happened. Boom, it's over. So like you're free to sign with any team.
My guess is no.
Really?
It's just too fast, I think. I don't think he's in that much high of a demand.
I think teams would have to look into it themselves, like do their own like background check almost,
Yeah.
If he's mentally there, I think you take the chance. But
yeah, I think with Brown too, I think it's fair for him to say like if he is really, and this is all based off his statement. So if he is, because of all the behavior he shows, it was disturbing. But if like for the NFL to kind of hold their end, if you have a player who publicly, made a mistake or multiple mistakes, but then tries to remedy it, then, meet them halfway, right? Instead of just cutting them loose. But, and then also like if the investigation, like you said, shows that, you're suspended or you can't play for, ever or for an X period of time, then like honor that too.
Yeah. Okay. I think it's time to get to the questions from our fans on TikTok. Have you guys looked at these or no? This will be the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
no, so it'll be fresh.
I'll start off with an easy one. This is from Gabriella. So she asked, if the NFL had a Hunger Games, who would win?
That's a good question.
I've had some time to think about this.
Okay.
Mine would be James Harrison from, I mean, he's not in the league anymore. He like just retired, but from the Steelers and the Pats. I mean, have you seen him play? He played volleyball with a medicine ball. Like, who does that?
Yeah.
He's jacked. First of all, he's jacked. He's huge, and he's fast. He was also a middle linebacker, which is like the brain of the defense. So he's also smart. So he's got all of, the aspects covered. So I would go with him to win the Hunger Games. Easy.
Really? I think just off the top of my head here, I think I would take Aaron Donald.
Oh,
I mean, this guy's a big. Not only is he big and fast for a defensive tackle, he's got the tactical skills. I don't know. What is he good at outside of football? He could be really good at like freaking bow and arrow. I don't know.
That's true. That is very true.
I mean, I can't. There's the one player. I don't know if he's still with the Steelers or still in the league, but there are like veterans who are in the NFL. So I'd probably put money on them. If they have military experience. If not, off the top of my head, in a Hunger Games, someone who came to mind, I think that you wouldn't like. If I'm Katniss Everdeen and I run into this person, I'm gonna be kind of scared. I think Kittle, the tight end, tight end for the San Francisco. Tight end's good because they're mobile. They're also like bronze and speed. Okay, but they're also blocking and receiving. So it's like you have that tactical thinking. But
That's
Kittle,
true.
you ever see that video of him like laughing his head off as he's about to pancake a defender like in a block? It's just like that kind of mentality. It's just picturing that with war paint, coming out of the woods chasing after you. Like, if I'm his sponsor,
He does
I'd
look
be like, all
kind
right,
of psychotic.
we're gonna send him
Looks
like
great.
something.
like his hairstyle.
And
is
if
crazy.
who was yeah,
Uh-oh.
and if what was it if he was still in the league, I would put money on him too.
Wait, Caleb, you cut out.
I think I said Chris Long.
Oh, okay.
If he was
Chris
still in the league, can you
Long.
hear me? I think he'd be good too. Yeah.
Was he in the Army at all? Or like Navy or something? I thought he had military experience.
Chris, I don't think so. No, maybe one of his, because he's the son of Howie Long. Is Chris Long when he was on the Eagles? It was just like it was like the kind of vibe that I'm like, I'm glad he's on my team, because he's got like some fire to him.
Yep.
So those two guys come to mind.
All right. So we talked about Kittle just now. This is from Ryan. Cut, bench, start. This is the game.
All right.
Kittle, Kelsey, Gronk. Cut, bench, start. Kittle, Kelsey, Gronk.
I think we would all agree to cut Gronk.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't need
Sorry, Gronk. You're
The
good, but
disrespect.
you're a little old.
if this is right now, like if this
Right
is
now, yeah.
if this is right now, I'm starting Kittle, benching Kelsey,
Oh,
and cutting Gronk.
Yeah, I'm the same way with that one.
I want to say cut Gronk too, but then it's like they play this season and he's going off like he used to. Then we're gonna look really dumb.
Yeah.
'Cause no doubt, like Gronk in his prime. If we're talking prime, then it's a different, in the prime of their game. Because maybe Gronk comes back and kills it, even more. But no, I would have to agree, just because as good as any player, as no matter how good you are, taking a year off, retiring and coming back, it's like just I think it's fair to be like, well, let's see where you are now physically and coming away from the game. Sometimes players leave the game and come back better, but I'd say cut Gronk. I would bench Kittle and start Kelsey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Why?
yeah. I think coming off the Super Bowl win with Kelsey, they're both kind of very equal in my mind. They're both really good.
Yeah.
In the Hunger Games, I know I was like, just in the Hunger Games, Kittle would be my but now I'm like putting him on the bench in this scenario. I just think it's kind of a toss up. So just like yeah.
Okay.
I'll just go with Kelsey, change it up a bit.
And then Ryan put a second question. Same game, cut, bench, start. AJ Brown, DK Metcalf, and Debo Samuel healthy.
Oh my gosh.
That's really tough. They're
Ooh.
all very similar.
This one's actually pretty easy for me.
I don't know.
The player I would start out of them three is DK.
Okay.
I think he's just a tier above them. And this season, I don't know, I'll probably be playing fantasy football with you guys, and I probably shouldn't say this, but I think DK is going to have like a huge season. So I'm drafting him if you if you guys want to take him before me. But DK, I would start. I mean, you saw his rookie season; he had 1,000 yards.
No, yeah.
I
I
mean,
would
this
start
guy,
DK too.
like he was big, and people were like, "Oh, all he is big. He can't really catch." But this guy's legit.
Yeah,
So,
I'd start him too.
I would start DK, and honestly, I would bench AJ Brown and then cut Debo. I think Debo's okay once he gets his hands under him. Now with Emmanuel Sanders gone, he might get better, but at least for right now, A.J. Brown was a good number 1 receiver with the Titans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah.
I had Debo in fantasy, and he didn't do well for me, so I'm cutting him. And
get your revenge.
A.J. Brown, it's interesting. I didn't know about A.J. Brown, but it turns out that he was like better at Ole Miss than DK Metcalf was because they went to the same school.
Oh, really?
So I didn't know about A.J. Brown, but he surprised me with the Titans. I would probably start Metcalf, though, because he's a freak athlete. Like, no one should ever be that big and that fast.
Yeah.
It should not be a thing. Like, the way he is, like, muscle-wise, he shouldn't be running a 4.4. Like, it's not a Madden-created character. So,
Yeah.
DK and then A.J.
He's
Brown.
got cheat codes on. He's got cheat codes on. We gotta.
Yeah, that's freaking pack
We gotta find the controller and adjust the settings.
Yeah.
I agree. I would start DK. It's tough. I would almost start AJ because I had AJ Brown for. And he was like fantasy. Okay, fantasy is not the metric that we should probably use.
I know.
But his production with the Titans, he's a solid receiver who I think could grow into one of the top receivers. I really like him. So it's almost like I'd bench him for now, but it makes me hesitate. I'd start DK though.
It's tough because Debo didn't have the same situation as Brown and Metcalf because Metcalf and Brown were kind of like the number 1, number 2, but Debo was like 3. So, and they used him for like those freaking, what are those called?
Streaks, slants,
slant routes, crossing routes.
Not slant routes, but like
and
jet sweeps.
Hitch. Oh, okay.
They used him for those jet sweeps a lot.
Yeah.
So he wasn't the main guy, and also they're all young, so
right.
It could change later.
That was a good question though.
Okay, this one is from Ethan Miller. Top sleeper predictions for MVP this year. Not the same people like Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, McCaffrey. Top sleeper MVP.
Okay.
I thought about this one. Mine would definitely be Kyler as a sleeper MVP.
Wait, what was the question? It cut out.
Oh, top sleeper predictions for the MVP this year. So I would go with Kyler. With the addition of Hopkins on top of the rookie of the year he was last year, his stats could be through the roof, MVP caliber. If they keep the wins up and they make the playoffs, he could easily compete for an MVP. I like the offense they built around him, so I'll go with Kyler.
I haven't researched this a lot, so I'm just like,
yeah, take some time.
I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I know it'll probably be a quarterback. I feel like.
Yeah.
But if I had to go with if I had to go with a non-quarterback pick sleeper, I would almost want to put on the table Derrick Henry. I think he'd be a really I think he's a great running back to start, but he was explosive last season. So if he keeps that up and goes higher than before, then it'll be interesting to see.
Do you think they can feed him the amount of times they did last year to this year? Like, the toll that – I mean, he is a big guy, but the toll that it takes on him, like, I don't know if they can do it back-to-back years.
I think with a combo, like a split, because they have a pretty good I feel like the Titans have been figuring themselves out more. So now that they're more balanced, if they leaned passing but still had that lethal – they signed him. So it's like if they had that lethal on the ground game too, then, it could be comparable to like what the Saints did 2 years ago, or other just having that combo. But Derrick Henry's like is an animal. It's like I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be a cool sleeper.
I agree.
My sleeper is actually also not a quarterback.
Really?
This is going to be surprising, but I think with the new offensive coordinator and a new offensive line coach, and with some of the workouts I've seen, I think Saquon Barkley.
I knew it. I know.
I don't know if you guys seen some of his workouts, but he's ready to break out.
I knew it was going there. I knew it. Because I was like, if it's not Henry and you're talking about non-quarterback, it's going to be Barkley.
You got to put context, though. The new offensive coordinator is Jason Garrett.
So all he knows how to do is run the ball, so that's good for Barkley.
That's true.
That's why I can see you. Yeah, that's why I understand the logic of it. Bad news as an Eagles fan, but
okay.
That was a good one. I like that.
This one's a little specific, but
Fine.
This one's from Cody. He says, "Who on the Bucs defense needs to make the biggest impact for Tampa to win the Super Bowl? Or is it? Oh, he says, is it the secondary, like as in cornerbacks, free safety, or defensive line?" I got to think of who's on the Bucs defense.
Yeah, I'm not super knowledgeable on the. Yeah,
I know Devin White is on the defense.
He's a linebacker.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the fastest linebackers in the NFL, and it's only his second year. If he can make a big jump next season, that will help Tom Brady in the offense a lot. You saw what Devin Bush did last year with the Steelers. I mean, totally changed the game. And if Devin White can take that next step next year and kind of be the vocal leader, yeah, like the vocal leader instead of like the physical fast leader, I think he could have a really, really great season and help them a lot, make a big impact. I don't know who else is on the Bucs.
Do they get from Ndamukong Suh?
I think he's gone.
Yeah, I think they had him last year. I don't think he's there anymore. But I know they have a really good defensive line. I don't know if it was because Winston was passing the whole time and the other team was always trying to throw it too. So they never ran on them, but they had a good defensive line. And with Devin White, their linebackers are set. It's really the secondary. When you saw how many passing yards were passed on them, I mean, they did pretty good in the second round. They got Antoine Winfield Jr. from USC, I think. So if he can start and really step up, Minnesota, mm-hmm. I think that's a big piece of their defense. And I don't know if they replace their secondary coach, like cornerbacks coach, but I think if that unit can step up, then they'd be really good because they have Shaq Barrett and he's really good. Devin White. I mean, their defensive line is set. So I think their front seven is really good. They just need those cornerbacks and safeties to get together and stop everybody.
Yeah, I'm looking it up, and I think Suh is still probably with the Bucs.
Really?
At least the most recent article, because it's and that's a good veteran presence. A lot of these articles, from a quick glance, because I'm not super familiar with the Bucs, but a lot of these articles are saying they're one of the most underrated defenses going into next year. So everything you guys are saying, I think, just looking at, I think it revolves around Brady. It's really, game of football is like you're playing four different teams, like offense, defense. So I think if I'm a Bucs fan, you need a defense that will at the very least, give Brady the ability to get the ball, keep the ball, not to, limit the amount of points. I mean, it's what a defense does. It sounds dumb, but it's more like, I think going to the question, I think no big run plays if you're the Bucs defense, being able to stop the run. And then also having a very deep secondary, because if big picture for the NFL, I think it's a passing league more than anything. Is this, you're looking into more teams getting superstar receivers, quarterbacks, mobile quarterbacks that are just, either coming out of the pocket or gunning it downfield, so you can stop that and limit the run. then at least you're more well-rounded. Because I think with the Bucks, you want to let Brady do his thing and not on the defense kind of keep giving up touchdowns, keep kind of negating whatever. If you're able to stop those big plays as and I think the Bucks have the people to do that. So that's actually an interesting. Yeah, it could be the Bucks defense. It's almost like if we see like what Peyton Manning did when he was with the Broncos, having a defense that kind of not carries him, but more like balances out his veteran presence on offense. That's one thing that would make me want to look at the Bucks for maybe a deeper run.
Yeah.
This is a tough question because John and I had a Tampa Bay Buccaneers NFL Madden franchise, and we traded everybody. So that's why I'm not familiar with their team, because we literally traded every single person. We literally traded every single player and replaced them with a first-round draft pick. And wait, a first-round draft pick or a 50 overall with 99.
If you didn't you have to have 11 first-round draft picks.
Yeah, dude, that's what you had to do. You had to trade the whole team and get the first 10
get the picks.
Yep.
I did that with the Eagles, but then I regretted it, so I had to sell my arm to get Ertz back, get Wentz back on Madden. I didn't want to play without him.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. I think
Madden franchise. Wide receivers, you only have to care about speed. That's it.
Yeah.
All you need. Same with running back. Speed. Okay, next question is from loyal follower. Noah, Giants fan.
All right, I like him already.
most likely team to go from worst to first, and most likely team to go from first to worst. And then, all right, you can't pack 3 questions into one comment, Noah.
No,
Also,
I think he
have you
deserves it.
thought about any fantasy content? So
what was the third one?
Have you thought about any fantasy football content?
That would be fun.
Add it when the season starts to pick up.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I would love that.
Absolutely. Talk about our picks, our reasonings, and then that also gives us the chance to playfully roast each other if we beat if it happens.
No, all right. Noah, we're definitely gonna make some fantasy football content as soon as the season gets underway, a little closer to fantasy draft season. But back to the question. So who will go from first to worst, and who will go from worst to first? I already have mine. 49ers will go from first to worst. I had that for a while. I've thought about this. They lost too much, and they got a little lucky. I don't like their offense. It's very slow. It's not in pace with the NFL today.
Who did they lose?
They lost Joe Stanley, their left tackle. They lost Emmanuel Sanders. They lost Marquise Goodwin.
Right.
They have a great defense. I'll give them that, but it doesn't win championships anymore.
They lost DeForest Buckner.
DeForest Buckner. I like the Cardinals in that division. Yeah.
I think that was the first team to come to my mind too. I don't even know why. That's why I was asking who'd they lose, because I can't fully articulate. I think it's comparing it to the Rams when they lost the Super Bowl. It's like they had an off year.
Rams, Panthers.
And it's like a situation. It's like allegory. I feel like they're not gonna get to that same bar. So from first to worst in this scenario, it's kind of like a bold prediction. I don't know. I just feel like the 49ers could be in that spot, and feel sad for those fans. For the worst to best is more, because there's been so much change.
That's a tough
obviously. One. Yeah. What are you thinking?
Yeah, John, do you want me to pull up the standings, or do you have it?
I think I know the team that I talked about earlier on one of the podcasts, but the Ravens, I don't think they're going to be that good. But I said that before the schedule came out, and then their schedule came out, and they had like the easiest schedule.
That's fair. We got to look into the schedule.
I'm still gonna say the Ravens because I don't think Lamar is that good. He had one season where he was running crazy, and it's gonna get to a point where he's gonna have to throw, and I just don't think he's ready for that yet.
I agree. It's just their division is so weak.
Yeah.
Like
those mobile
Bengals,
quarterbacks like that, they hold their own, I think.
Also, like worst to first, I have like 3 different teams. Like the Steelers, now that Roethlisberger's back, like last year with no good quarterback, their defense got really good. So now they have a really good defense, and Roethlisberger doesn't have to carry the team. Plus, the Colts with Rivers, I think they're going to win the division. And then the Giants, I think, are going to have a little bit of a better year than last.
Yeah. My call would go with like one of the teams. I don't know yet. I'm just kind of spitballing here. I would go with a team that might have like a new quarterback or a developing quarterback. Like what comes to mind is the Bills. I mean, Bills weren't worse though. They're a good team. But think of I don't know, maybe the Jets, Dolphins come to mind. Who are some other like drafted QB? Who do the Chargers have as a?
I was just gonna say the Chargers.
Yeah, maybe
They
the
were
Chargers.
last place in their division, and if the Chiefs have a little Super Bowl hangover and lose a couple games in the regular season, we could sneak in and get that first place spot easy. Easy.
Who's the quarterback though?
Herbert
or
Tyrod Taylor. I'll go with either one. I'll take either.
That might be because they still have a really great. It's hard to call them the worst. They're a good team still, but with a new quarterback, they could go up a lot.
They literally won 5 games last year.
I don't know how that's possible.
I don't know.
That's crazy.
I think they did it on purpose. They made a tank. Next question from Cash. What are your thoughts on the Bengals this year with a new QB, AJ Green coming back, and a healthy offensive line?
Bengals.
I think they're definitely gonna win more than just one game. But I like Burrow, and I like that AJ Green is back and that they upgraded their line. But I'm worried about the playbook, and no preseason. I don't know. That just really gets to me when thinking about all these.
I feel like that's all they're gonna do is read the playbook.
Yeah, but they don't get to practice it. You have to be on the same page. You have to know the speed. That's how Brady could hit Edelman in every single route because he knows where he's going to be because he knows his speed and everything, the timing. Burrow doesn't have that. That's what I'm
you're right. Yeah, I think a lot of these rookies are going to be at a disadvantage because the first couple – they were thinking about taking away the preseason, which would be huge.
No, they did. There is no preseason.
Oh, it's completely gone?
Yeah.
It's gone, Derek.
Oh, man. It's going to be tough to pick a rookie of the year. They're all going to suck.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, start Tyrod and then put Justin Herbert in. That's my –
So wait, what was the Bengals question again? If you just reiterate.
Just your thoughts on the Bengals with the new AJ Green coming back, healthy offensive line.
Yeah. I think it'll be interesting.
So
yeah, sorry.
Couldn't tell.
Yes. I think it'll be interesting with the Bengals. Okay, let's just say, given that Burrow is who they're hyping him up to be, and from what I've seen, I like him to do that. They got Boyd, Ross, Green, pretty good, and the offense. I think it just comes down to, do they have a good defense that can, defense wins. If you want to make it all the way, you have to have a good defense, just flat out. So I'm not as familiar. So if that's not there, then the offense kind of moot, and then it also goes into organization. I've said this before in other podcasts, organizationally and the front office as well as coaching. How much behind the scenes are the Bengals capable to kind of raise the caliber on the team, because they've struggled with competing at higher levels throughout the years, and I think they're starting to take those steps. But there's just a different kind of I don't want to say vibe, but I want to see them on all levels start to raise the standards for we're a winning team. We're going to make it with these are our players. We're going to make it to the playoffs. This is the expectation. We're going to meet it. I want to see more of that. But on paper, I think their offense at least could be, pretty dangerous with some of theirs, like some of their receivers especially. And they have who's their running back for that team?
Joe
I thought they had a good. Yeah, I like him too.
They have a great offense. Look, Cash, you're not going to make the playoffs. It's very similar to the Cardinals. Great offense last year, but your defense is going to be dead last. Like, I'm talking the last spot.
It's a tough division.
Yeah, you can't win anything with that, especially with the Ravens are like going to automatically be the number one spot.
Steelers are there too, right?
I know, but the quarterback is the problem with the Steelers.
What? Why is that a problem?
What do you mean? Mason Rudolph has indent in his head.
Roethlisberger's starting.
Roethlisberger's old and big and fat.
The disrespect.
There's no way.
Oh my gosh! All right. I'll bet you that they win the division over the Ravens.
John, would you draft Roethlisberger for fantasy though?
No.
Like, cause he's a good quarterback, but I mean, I see both sides. I feel like, I think part of the conversation with Pittsburgh is like, the line of succession, who's up to bat, and like you're saying, Mason Rudolph. I don't know. Roethlisberger is special. But
I mean, if you have in this division, Joe Burrow, Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson, and Ben Roethlisberger,
it's a tough division overall. Yeah.
Like all the quarterbacks except for the Steelers are up and coming and have a lot of potential. Roethlisberger's way past the prime. I don't think he can even compete. I really don't.
I don't know what did you forget like how good he was?
I think I did. I can't remember the last time I saw him put on a jersey. Like it's been that long. I did see his do you see his he put out a Instagram video or a Twitter video of him like throwing the ball around, like he's back to throwing again. He's got like the beard. Like he looks like an NFL quarterback, but he's so old. So old, and he's so slow, and he's very fragile.
I think one of the styles of his generation of quarterbacks, it was more normal to see people stay in the pocket. And I think when you're in a division with like a Mayfield and a Lamar Jackson, it's like when you're playing it, you don't have that option to run out of the pocket. I think that just the league's changed. But I think he's still a good quarterback. I just think that's it'll be, they have a good enough team that they could be contenders, but I don't.
He also can't rely on Le'Veon Bell anymore. He's going to have to throw it more than he's ever thrown ever. I mean, with James Conner, he was like iffy. He was like on and off. I don't think they could trust him to be like a reliable running back. So he's going to have to throw a lot more at this age. I don't know. It's going to be really tough. Next question from Cody. I'll have to pull it up, but if you were the Washington Redskins * football club in a 2012 redraft, who are you taking? Assuming Russell Wilson goes number 1 to Indiana. So I'll
look it up.
I'll pull it up for you guys.
Did you look at it before?
No, I have not looked at it.
If I'm the Redskins, who do I pick other than Russell Wilson for the 2012 draft?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
All right,
that was a good.
Here it is.
Yeah, I'm looking at the same thing. Yeah.
So, okay.
Does it matter what?
Robert
okay.
Griffin.
Does it matter what? What is it? What? Does it have to be from the first round or just anyone?
Anybody.
Okay.
I don't know what their situation was. Like, how badly did they need a quarterback?
I
I mean,
guess
I think Redskins haven't had a solid quarterback in a long time, so I think that would be my first thinking.
Well,
Probably,
wait.
yeah.
you got Luke Kuechly, you got Stephon Gilmore, you got Chandler Jones,
Fletcher
what about
Cox.
Andrew Luck?
Andrew Luck.
Andrew Luck's he's probably the obvious one if I'm the Redskins
Yeah,
or
that's
the
pretty obvious because
Washington football team. My apologies.
So if Wilson went first, Kirk Cousins was also in this draft. So
Okay.
if Russell Wilson goes first, knowing the outcome, you would still pick Andrew Luck.
yeah,
Yeah, because you need to start with the quarterback, and
Even with how injured he was.
yeah, I mean, he was the real deal, man. Let me see. I think I'd go with him.
Oh my God, Casey Hayward. This draft was Nick Foles. All right,
Yeah.
Nick Foles.
Okay. It's weird to think that way because Fletcher Cox is in this. I would never want any of these players to be on not on the Eagles, but it's like
This was like the best draft ever.
Chandler Jones was in this draft too.
Josh Norman.
Robert Griffin, Tannehill. Tannehill would have might have been good too.
Megatron.
Yeah. Okay. If it was all right, let's kind of play with this a little bit. I like this. I didn't know how good this draft was in hindsight.
I did not know either. I literally
This is
saw
a
the
great
question. I didn't
question.
even look at it.
It was such an oddly specific one, but now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay. All right, let's do the best quarterback from that draft for the Redskins. Then we can go to like receiver. I think other than Russell Wilson, I'd go either Foles or Luck. Maybe
Bobby
Tannehill.
Wagner. What?
Ooh, that's a
Wait, how?
that's one I might get to.
This might have been the best defensive draft in a while.
Honestly, yeah, Fletcher Cox is in. I've said that like 3 times, but it's like honestly.
Oh my God.
I do not remember this being such a legit draft.
Not a lot of tight ends though. But at least that I recognize.
We could probably agree on the quarterback being Luck, but like, what if you had to choose one defensive player?
Ooh, that's fun. That's a fun one.
So you have Luke Kuechly, who in Madden was a 99. Gilmore is currently a 99. Chandler Jones is sacks leader last year. Bobby Wagner's a 99. Casey Hayward. Yeah. Oh my God.
I would be Greg Zuerlein, the kicker.
Oh my God.
That's something you got to think about for the
Megatron.
Yeah.
Ty and Luck were in the same draft. I didn't know that.
Wow.
All right, I'd be between Fletcher Cox, Bobby Wagner. Malik. Those are my probably top 2 right now. Just because with Bobby Wagner, you could captain a defense with him at a linebacker, but then Fletcher Cox is just such a good D lineman that a good D line in the NFL is like. Oh, Norman was in this draft too. I don't know if you guys said that.
I think I would go with Stephon Gilmore because here's my reasoning. Do the Redskins currently have Josh Norman?
Yeah.
So they, at this current point, have Josh Norman, and they would have Gilmore at his prime.
Yeah. Well, it took Gilmore 8 years to get to his prime, but
true.
and being with the yeah.
I mean, if it was me, to be honest, I think Chandler Jones.
Harrison Smith too.
Oh yeah, I would take Chandler Jones. I mean, 8 years later in the league, he led the league in sacks last year.
Yeah,
or he was second to maybe Shaq Barrett, but I think he's like a steal.
I would do Fletcher Cox for alternate universe.
But there's so many good players. A lot of good players.
It's fun to look back because it's like we're long away and yeah.
Look at the Browns, man. The Browns just that's terrible.
It's
Browns,
so sad.
Jaguars, Cowboys. I can't believe Tannehill was that high up.
He's starting. I mean, now 8 years later, it was 7 years. He was, in the playoffs.
We should do this for like another year.
Honestly,
I
yeah.
like this because we're far away enough from 2012 that we can see pretty accurately like who was a solid, a bust, or like a superstar.
Yeah.
Wow, great question.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a good one. Whoever. Yeah.
That was from Cody.
Thank you, Cody.
Okay, our last question comes from Bud Grant. He asks, will Teddy Bridgewater revive his career in Carolina? And will Christian McCaffrey ever get a chance to win MVP?
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, McCaffrey, but no, he'll never get a chance. I mean, he'll never have for him to have a better season than last season is so almost impossible.
Won't happen.
So how could you have that good of a season and not get
never say
MVP?
never, but
it just so happened that Lamar Jackson had one of the best seasons.
One of the hypest years as a quarterback since like Michael Vick.
Right.
His
so
thing.
It's unfortunate that happened. He won't get the yardage ever again.
No.
To be fair, it's unfair to anyone other than a quarterback, I feel. It's just too flashy of a position that if you're, at a Mahomes or Jackson level and having a great year, then it's like you'll never see like a defense guy getting MVP. Rarely nowadays, I feel.
Yeah.
So it's just not to say McCaffrey's bad. I think he's really, good. I just don't think he'll get the MVP. For Bridgewater though, I can see him doing really well with the Panthers. I think he's got the stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I think Bridgewater's got it. I mean, he's an upgrade from Kyle Allen. And honestly, I think he's better than Cam at this point in time. Not that much better, but I think he's going to have a decent year. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but he's a little bit of an upgrade.
That's a good point. I think mentally, Bridgewater is where Cam wants to be. Bridgewater took, I think it was around 3 or 4 years under Drew Brees. So I think mentally he's at like the top prime of his career. It's just physically he's still trying to catch up after his injury.
Yeah.
I never thought about that.
I think Bridgewater's got it. I like him a lot because it's a resilient story, coming off the injury and then, being a backup and then proving himself as like, taking a good team with the Saints.
Yeah.
I think Panthers have a team that's, not the same, but I think it shows that he can lead an offense like a team like that. So I think if I'm a Panthers fan, I'm like pretty happy about Bridgewater compared to some other teams who've gotten new quarterbacks this year.
Yeah, I like him a lot. I mean, I've liked him for a while. I think those 6 games that he played with the Saints really solidified like how good he can be. But also there is a cap to his playing. Like I don't think he's the quarterback that can throw 300 yards every game.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have to put pieces around him. He has more at wide receiver, and he's got McCaffrey, which is great. So if the Panthers can keep a good line and good weapons around him, he's going to be solid every single year, really solid. So maybe not playoffs next year, but like it's looking bright. It's like
who's in that division?
Definitely on the uptrend. Well, Buccaneers are in their division. Falcons. Buccaneers, Falcons, and what was it?
Okay. Saints.
Yeah, so like
okay.
Unfortunately, you have like that's unfair. I'm sorry.
I feel like it's more level. I think it's more level than what was the AFC something with the Browns, Ravens.
I just got an update. On my phone. Seahawks traded for Jamal Adams.
No.
Yeah.
Right now, like literally,
as we're filming this.
Yeah.
Get the hell out of here.
No way.
They send the safety and a 4th rounder for 2 first-round picks and a 3rd-round pick.
Wow.
No
That's-
way.
That's pricey.
Wait, you're
Dude.
lying. I don't see it.
No, dude,
I do see it.
The Seahawks gave up 2 first-round picks and a 3rd round for Jamal Adams. Oh my
4th
god.
round, 2021 first round, 2021 third.
They wanted to replace Earl
2022
Thomas pretty
first.
bad, huh?
I guess. That's crazy. They're giving up so much for him.
It's a lot.
That's great for the Jets. I mean, Jamal Adams is solid. I'm kind of broken up about it because I wanted him to come to the Eagles.
Yeah. I mean, I
No
wouldn't
doubt,
have been
yeah.
surprised. I wouldn't have been surprised if it was just a 1st and 3rd.
Honestly, you usually these football trades are like a 7th round and like a
Yeah.
6th round pick.
That's
No.
a lot.
Wow.
That's
That's
two
crazy.
2021, 2022 first round pick gone.
Dude, that could potentially be like a star wide receiver and like a starting linebacker.
I mean, you got to think
Yeah.
reasonably. Seahawks are going to be good next year. Maybe like
They want to win.
within
Yeah,
like the 15 to 20 range. I would
Yeah.
say those picks are going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, like we just saw in the 2012 draft, like if you go back here, in that range, you can get Melvin Ingram, a Chandler Jones, Fletcher Cox. Like those are the type
Yeah.
of players that are in that.
That's
I
great.
know, and they just gave up 2 of those type of players.
So do we feel like that's a good trade? Because they're giving up a lot, but was it worth it? Because we're reacting live time to this news.
This is crazy.
Yeah,
Dude,
it's like we gotta. Yeah.
To be
I don't
honest,
know if I like that.
I think Jamal Adams is really good. Like he's a really
Yeah.
good player, but I
That's
don't think he's worth 2 firsts and a 3rd.
It's hard for any player to be that much, unless
Yeah.
it's like I can't even think unless it's like I don't know, like almost
know,
like a
to give
starting
up-
quarterback.
To give up 2 first-round picks for any type of player is a lot.
Right. That's my thinking. It's crazy. I mean, with safeties a good safety is worth so much. You look
Yeah.
at some of the best leaders like Thomas or the Eagles with Jenkins. Like they're harder to come by, but
Yeah.
he's a great player. It's just a lot to give up if you're the Seahawks, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because you're giving away, was it 4 picks total overall? 2 of them being first?
So 2 firsts, a 3rd,
Oh, no, yeah,
and
2 first
a
and a 3rd.
safety.
And
Bradley
they get, yeah,
McDougald.
Oh, McDougal.
McDougal,
He was a starter last year.
Really?
Oh my gosh, I can't believe they gave up that much.
He was
so
a starter last year?
Yeah, he started at safety.
Seahawks get a 20. This is so because I misread it before, but the Jets are giving away Jamal Adams and a 2022 4th round pick in exchange for Bradley McDougall, the safety, and then 2021 first round, 2021 3rd round, and then a 2022 first round. Just so we're on the same page.
That's
I'm
too
reading
much.
it off of
I'm
Bleacher
sorry.
Report.
That's too much.
That's
gave
too
up-
much?
That's too much.
I think it's great for the Jets.
You gave away your starting safety and 2 first rounds and a 3rd round. That's too much.
I think it's
sorry, that
great for
wasn't
the
a good deal.
Jets. I think it shows with the Seahawks they want to win now mentality, I guess, like to get the defense solid. But I think they gave up too much, and I think it's a great deal for the Jets
Yeah.
because they still have a safety, and they
Yeah.
also have potential to like maybe Jets don't win this year because given that he's a great player, but they position themselves so well, and I think that
Yeah.
Seattle, that's.
So
I
wait,
mean, it works out for the Jets because Jamal wanted to leave. He literally was
Right.
like, please get rid of me. Like he had bad
Right.
relationships. It's like perfect scenario for the Jets.
For the Jets, yeah. I think the Seahawks are happy they have a good player in that position, but I think they gave up too much. But it's like the market. I don't think the Jets are just going to give them away for pennies either,
But
I
it's,
don't think-
it's interesting. It's interesting how the Seahawks value safeties as compared to everybody else because
I
they've
know.
seen
I respect
Chancellor, they've seen Earl Thomas, so they really value the safety, which is interesting. We'll get to see how they use him and how
Right.
well he does.
And it's like maybe over those 5 years he becomes like he fills those shoes, and then we're like, well, maybe it was considering how much those other guys changed the team, it's like, well, then maybe it's a good trade.
Yeah.
So he's a great safety. I just think off the bat, that's just crazy to kind of leverage your future in that way. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for the Jets, according to John, Bradley he was a starter. So you're getting a starting safety to replace Jamal Adams, not Pro Bowl, but he's a starter.
Yeah.
And you're getting 2 first-round picks and a 3rd-round pick. Those are the first 4 rounds are like all starters, usually in like 5 years.
Yeah.
You just got, oh my God, that's insane. You just got like 4 starters for a safety. Like not even a quarterback. This is a safety. It doesn't even matter that much.
Yeah, the Seahawks are placing a pretty big bet on Adams.
Yeah.
It could, if they win the Super Bowl, then it's like, well, no doubt. I don't think a team would, but it's like off the bat, I think the first reaction is it's a lot to give up.
Yeah.
That's way too much. Way too much.
I think it's a great deal for the Jets, though.
But
great deal.
So if you're the Jets, you got a safety, so you're not going to draft a safety. Like, what are your priorities those first round picks?
Receiver. They did get a receiver, but he was the guy from Baylor. I forget what his name was. But they need another receiver and offensive line.
I was going to say offensive line.
Yeah, I think you got to get a line for Darnold. Wow, you know what's interesting is like they have a lot of cap space now.
Yeah,
they're only paying Le'Veon Bell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they have a good O line. If they improve it, I think that's good.
Dude, they should get Clowney.
Yeah, they should.
They have the space to get Clowney, and then when Brown's thing is up, they can get Antonio Brown. I just solved the Jets' problem in 5 seconds.
What's it? Adam Case would like to know your location.
Oh, sorry, I'm getting a call. It's New York.
It's the area code. I recognize it.
Like
if that is not like their first priority, boom, boom, boom. Like I don't know what is.
I know.
Dang.
They don't even have to get rid of like picks or anything. All they have to do is sign Clowney and sign Brown. They don't have to trade for them.
Yeah, you got cap room. You're going to get a number 1 receiver, and you're going to get maybe a top 10 defensive end, and call it a day.
Yeah. All right. Wow. I feel like with Clowney wants to go. I think I've read he wants to go on a winning team. So if the Jets can prove they could be more successful than last season, then maybe that's possible. But that's like I see the scenario happening. It's not impossible, but. That's like Madden when you're just like have unlimited cap and you want to sign wherever you want.
Wait a minute, I forgot the Jets' first pick too. So they have 3 first-round picks next year.
Wow, dang! And there's some notable players coming up, so that could be.
Yeah.
Oh crap! Wait, Trevor Lawrence, he's a quarterback. Who would be a good? I don't even know. Actually, I only know quarterbacks.
It gives them. I think it's great for the Jets for the future. I don't know if it wins them games now, but down the line, 2 years from now, they could be a threat, even more so than what they are now. Woo! That was a good job catching that. I didn't.
Wow, that was unreal.
That was good timing.
As we record, yeah. I'm a little gutted that you didn't go to the Eagles though. I mean, I'm biased.
Jonathan's gonna be crushed. He didn't go to the Cowboys.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it hurts. It hurts.
He was like, you know what the perfect place is? America's team.
The Philadelphia.
Oh, man. Another loss.
Text him and see what he thinks.
They were supposed to get Earl Thomas, struck out with him. They were supposed to get Jamal Adams, struck out with him.
Weren't they supposed to get Tyrann Mathieu too?
Yep, Tyrann Matthews. Because every Cowboys fan is like, this is the perfect place.
Yeah.
But no.
Nope.
No.
Oh.
Yeah. Dang.
Wow. Okay. So we can really get this thing out and rolling today. I'm gonna
Yeah.
post
Yeah,
this. I'm gonna
that should be
post
the
this.
first TikTok or YouTube. I mean, it's all
Yeah.
going on YouTube, but that's like a great one.
So
Yeah,
Jets won the trade. We're all in agreement that the Jets won
Yeah.
the trade.
Yeah, and if in a few years Jamal Adams is like, we'll see. Time will tell. But as of today, I think Jets win the day.
I would give that for the Jets. I'd give it an A. I would give it an A.
Yeah,
You
I'd give it
can't ask for
a-
anything better. Like
right.
Yeah.
You still fill the position, so you don't have to worry about that. I would give what would the Seahawks grade be for you guys?
C plus,
Yeah, I'd
I
give
was
them
thinking,
a C plus
I was
above
gonna say
average.
C.
because it's a
They
pretty
gave
good
up.
trade.
Yeah, like if it comes out great, then I think it's a lot of upside. Like they got the player they wanted, which is why I give it a C. It's not like if they gave it away for an even bigger risk of a player, then it'd be worse. But he's a good safety. They got who they wanted. So
All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and comment down below. Also, we have a TikTok if you did not know, so go follow us over there at the Dorm Debate Podcast, and we will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.